Hi, I'm Corinne Zudonyi, editor with Housekeeping Solutions Magazine and CleanLink.com here at Trade Press Media Group. We're a multimedia company based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I was a public relations emphasis. I had a public relations emphasis at UW-Whitewater, graduated in 2000. And while I was at Whitewater, I actually did a number of things that kept me involved in the university. I was on the executive board at PRSSA, which I really enjoyed. I also wrote frequently for the Royal Purple, and just pretty much got involved in anything that I could get involved in that would help get me experience, because any internship I looked for always said, you have to have experience. So tried to get that experience through writing through the Royal Purple and through my association with PRSSA. And ultimately, my involvement in PRSSA is what led me to my first B2B experience, which was with Cygnus Business Media over in Fort Atkinson. And it happened because one of the members that was graduating had an internship there previously, and he had come to the meeting for PRSSA that day and said that they were also looking for additional interns that might be interested in working for the summer. So I looked into the possibility of doing that and ultimately got my first internship right then and there, which was really nice because as a public relations student, I was always looking at what public relations could do for an editor. And taking a job as in an editorial position allowed me to see public relations from the back end. And it helped me really identify what I wanted to do with PR and how I could really help an editor in their position. So ultimately, my experiences through the association, through PRSSA, really helped me identify what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. After college, I took a job with Cygnus Business Media. I was offered a full-time position there with one of their other publications, and really discovered that I enjoyed the writing aspect of PR and the hounding that I had to do with cold calling and PR and worrying about last-minute deadlines and things like that probably wasn't for me. So I stuck with writing for a while. After about 3 years at Cygnus, I was getting the itch to do PR again and hightailed it to Milwaukee and started my first official PR position with an agency in downtown, a smaller agency that dealt with a lot of large companies. It really gave me the experience of everything that I had learned in school. It brought back a lot of memories of Ann Canavi's class. And I found that I really enjoyed what I was doing, but still was definitely drawn towards the writing aspect. I worked there successfully for about 2 years until the two partners of the agency decided to separate and they closed down the business, at which time I got a different PR job, working in another agency, doing pretty much the same thing, just with different clients. My most exciting client, well, I had two pretty exciting clients, but the most interesting was probably working with, at the time it was the Visitors and Convention Bureau of Milwaukee. I helped them with their name change to Visit Milwaukee. That was very exciting because we were able to communicate the benefits of a city that I loved. So that was a pretty exciting thing. It was also my introduction to social media and specifically blogs. I did a lot of research on blogs when they were first emerging into the market, and PR people were really starting to embrace them as a medium for communicating a message that they wanted to get across. So that was a nice opportunity. I helped launch a couple programs that were very successful, and I really enjoyed myself, got to do a lot of different things. But then soon got a calling back to the B2B world when I got a phone call from a headhunter, ironically, regarding a position that they had here at Trade Press. And they called me in and said that they had found me online. I'm not really sure how. Still to this day, they won't tell me how, but they sought me out because of my writing and because of my experience in both the PR and B2B world, and also because I had experience with, at the time, it was really just blogs, not too much social networking with Facebook and things like that at the time. So they didn't have anybody who had that experience. So they brought me in, and I've been here ever since, and it's been a roller coaster of a ride. When I started, I was the editor of a small publication, and that's about it. Now I'm the editor of a larger publication, which same publication, just grew. Also the editor of the website, which is much, 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 much more comprehensive than when we started. In fact, when we started, I was a bit embarrassed to tell anyone our website address. And I'm also the editor of our social networking site, which we launched to target just our specific audience of our magazines. So it's kind of a nice thing. I get to dabble in a whole lot of different avenues, working with video, audio, print, online. I get to do a whole lot of different things, which keeps your job very fresh and exciting. And in turn, I deal with public relations people every day. I sympathize with them because I was in their shoes, and therefore probably give them a little bit more leverage than some other editors do. But definitely, I know how they feel, and I try to help them out whenever I can, and in turn, they help me out. So that's a little bit about me, and yeah. So. As a student, when I was at Whitewater, I was confused as to what I really wanted to do with my degree when I got out of school. Obviously, I had my internship with the magazine, but before I got a job there, I really looked around and tried to find the type of agency or the type of PR that worked best for me. And I can say now that working in a couple different agencies and working in the editorial world with the magazines, it's interesting as far as what all the different offerings are. But what I would recommend is really diving into all the different aspects, talking to people. Networking is huge, and just really trying to dive into what each job entails. When I was with the agencies, I did a couple events, which was really fun, but I found that the overtime and the stress just wasn't for me. I have a friend who, that's all she does is event planning, and she thrives on it and loves it. So it really, you have to find your niche. I found that writing was my passion, and being on the other side of PR was my passion. So, and that came from talking to people, trying different things, and really exploring what was out there to figure out what was best for you. As far as internships go, it really varies. There's good and bad to doing more or less. I think it really depends on what you're interested in. The positive thing about doing more than one internship is it does give you that opportunity to really try different aspects of the industry. You can do some in event planning, you could do another one that focuses more on writing, or do another one where you have more client interaction. It really benefits you to do more than one because it does give you those experiences, but at the same time, having one for a prolonged period of time isn't so bad either. Because as an intern, as most of you probably know, you're kind of the low man on the totem pole, and you do a lot of things that pretty much nobody else wants to do. So the longer you stay with the position, the benefit is you'll get more opportunities to do more substantial projects if they know you're going to be there a long time. So your opportunity for bigger and better is probably higher if you do one for a prolonged period of time. If I were to hire someone who had internship experience in the past, I don't think I would look one way or the other if they had 4 short internships versus 1 long internship. Really all that we would look for is experience. And I realize that that's hard to do. Even internships now are looking for experiences. It's more like a full job interview than it is an internship anymore. But what I did is I got experience through the newspaper, through doing stuff in the community of Whitewater, and then I got my internship, obviously. I just had the one, and I found that doing that for a full year, I got a lot of writing experience. I worked with a lot of PR people. I felt that I got a good experience into all the different aspects that I was interested in. So I would recommend doing what's best for you and exploring different offerings. If you find yourself in a long internship and you find that it's not the type of work for you, I would recommend leaving and finding somewhere else. You need to find your niche, and in the long run, that's what's going to benefit you, not the number of internships that you do. Okay. As far as advice, you know, take it or leave it, but I guess when you're looking for a job, the best way to stand out is to be yourself. You'd be surprised how many people try and pretend and make things up, and they try to impress, but it just comes across as kind of arrogant and untruthful. So just be yourself, try and be unique. It is hard out there, but make sure that your resume, your cover letter, everything you're submitting is correct. Again, stressing the writing, but make sure it's correct, make sure it's accurate, make sure you truly believe in it, and really stand behind it, because that will make you stand out among the other people. When you go in for an interview, be yourself. Don't be normal, or don't be normal, but don't be be yourself, and don't be nervous, because you're just talking to another person, and yeah, they might be analyzing what you're saying, but in the long run, your work should stand for itself, and your personality will shine once you're yourself in the meeting. So don't be too nervous. I know it's easier said than done, but that's really going to help you in the long run. And then once you get a job, take it with stride. It's going to be an entry-level position, which is, you know, pretty much a glorified intern, and you might be able to give some of that really crappy stuff to the intern, but you're still going to do some stuff that most people don't want to do. So know that that's going to happen, and you will eventually get your chance to grow and do some more exciting stuff as you progress in your position. Respect the people that are there, regardless of age, because you'd be surprised how far that goes. You don't want to burn bridges, especially when you first start. And when you're a new employee to a company, it's best to just kind of observe and be a fly on the wall and just soak it all in, kind of go from there, because you'd be surprised how far that will get you with the rest of your staff.